This is a CBS News update. America fights back. John Roberts reporting from CBS News World Headquarters in New York. Good afternoon. President Bush went to ground zero today, 2 months after the September 11th attacks. The names of 86 countries which lost citizens in the attack were read and their flags displayed. United Front rebels took on Taliban snipers as they claimed more victories in northern Afghanistan and targeted the major city of Herat. They wouldn't rule out attacking the Afghani capital of Kabul, despite President Bush's urging not to. On the CBS News program Face the Nation, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld today cast doubt on Osama bin Laden's claim to have a nuclear capability.
We have a great deal of intelligence that says over a period of years the al-Qaeda organization has been actively trying to acquire chemical, biological, and radiation and/or nuclear weapons. I think it's unlikely he has a nuclear weapon.
In other headlines, bin Laden disavowed responsibility for the anthrax attacks. The White House and Hollywood executives huddled on how the entertainment business can help in the war on terrorism. And the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was the site of Veterans Day observances. Stay with CBS News and the CBS station for the latest on America Fights Back, including a complete update on tonight's CBS Evening News. Until then, I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. We'll see you soon.
Watch Ken Body and Karen Adams on Coin 6 News.
The Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel. Get right through.
Well, time for play, young and old, here in Denver with a 20-0 lead at the intermission. And the defense certainly has been equal to Mike Shanahan's charge after giving up 38 points on Monday night.
They really have stymied the San Diego offense. They've got no passing game going whatsoever, whether it's bad throws from Flutie, drop passes by receivers, and you heard Mike Riley say it to Bonnie at halftime. They just have no rhythm whatsoever. They're not converting third downs, and here in one of the toughest places to play in the league, they're down 20-0 at halftime.
Look at the possession time,
and look at this one right here. 11. 28 yards passing, which is just astounding considering they're averaging well over 200. Their lone turnover right here ended up in the 7 points right before halftime for the Broncos. So just about everything that could go wrong. You factor in all the injuries that the Chargers have sustained in the first half, and it is a mighty big hill that these guys are looking to climb here in the second half.
And you wonder at 20-0 whether or not we'll see any of Drew Brees the second half.
You know, I asked Mike Riley if he was going to try to get Brees some playing time, some minutes. He said no. Doug Flutie is our quarterback. It's not a situation where I'm going to try to give him playing time. Now, you know, I didn't ask him what about a game that got completely out of hand. That might change it.
Wade Ritchie with a kickoff. First time he's been on the field today, and Chris Cole brings it out across the 20-yard line. As the Broncos have it first here to start the second half. What'd you learn at halftime, Bonnie?
All right, Dick, pardon me for looking down at my notes, but it's like a hospital room in the Chargers locker room. Rodney Harrison, most importantly, is out. The diagnosis right now is sprained MCL, although further testing is required. Ronnie Jenkins, we initially said he was going to come back. A neck injury, though, that's going to keep him out. However, running back Terrell Fletcher will be coming back in. Alex Molden out with an ankle.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. First down for Greasy and the Broncos, who had some nice long drives using Terrell Davis in the first half. And here he comes on the first carry of the second half out to the 31-yard line and a gain of 8.
Boy, how encouraging this has to be for everybody who admires the class of Terrell Davis, but a Bronco follower. I mean, you can see that he's getting into the flow. Look at always great shoulder pad level. He's a little high there, but then when he got to take, look how he gets down. This Terrell Davis is, you know, I don't know that he'll ever be able to come back to where he was prior to the injury in 98, Dick, but 99 rather, but wow, he sure looks good.
Hit the backfield this time as Junior Seau shot the gap and dropped Davis for a rare loss at the 29.
Of course, a lot has been this San Diego defense with Junior Seau, shredded last week, and they've responded fairly well, but you know, they're just getting no help from their offense this week. This is when it's a tough time to be a defensive player, because you're already down by 20. You're playing here in Denver, and you know that your offense has done absolutely zip to help you out.
Third down 4. Greasy on the roll. Quick throw incomplete, intended for Rod Smith. He was covered by Tay Cody, the #3 draft pick of the Chargers out of Florida State. All the Charger draft choices making the roster this year.
Junior going right up the middle. He's, you know, there's nowhere to go. He's just trying to get excited, screaming at his teammates. Come on, somebody bust through. That was just good blocking by the Denver offensive line. You talk about a group of guys that just put their shoulder pads together and sealed off all the gaps.
That was a dam there. Ruin juggles the snap and then drives a spiral to Reggie Jones all the way. He fumbled it again. And who's got it?
Nobody yet. Denver.
Lee Woodall appeared to recover the ball for the Broncos. Reggie Jones, 2 chances, 2 muffs.
Well, the first time we gave him the benefit of the doubt and said maybe the sun was a factor.
Catches the ball against his chest, not with his hands.
Not on that one.
Right through the wickets.
Yeah, tried to signal a fair catch. You saw him doing it. I don't know if that distracted him, the motion of signaling for the fair catch, but wow. This is just all falling apart. The wheels are coming completely off the Chargers here in Denver.
Keith Burns credited with the recovery of that muff punt. First and goal, Greasy at the 9-yard line. Terrell Davis. And he's to the 6-yard line. Bonnie?
Well, Dick, interestingly enough, when I asked Riley what he told his team to try to settle him down, he said, take 1 Thursday at a time, but most importantly, the players on special teams have to be alert, because that's going to could be what it comes down to. And what Reggie Jones just did completely goes against everything that Riley was just talking about.
No, the one thing Mike talked about was because they're winning, they're taking losses harder. This will show us a lot about San Diego, how they respond here.
Davis dropped for a loss back at the 10 as Ray Lee Johnson, number 99, there with a tackle. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 10.
Dick, you'd agree that over the years that the one constant in San Diego has been the play of their defensive unit. They've played better than average defense in this league for a number of years now.
Boy, what a forward spot. At the 8-yard line they spotted as Ray Lee Johnson asks for help as he lumbers off.
How come big guys lumber?
Little guys are up on their toes more. Greasy over the middle, incomplete, and a good defensive play. Diving in to break it up was Rogers Beckett, the safety man.
Beckett almost got himself an interception in the end zone. Good pass protection up front, just trying to get the ball inside there to Carswell, and he was completely locked up. Desmond Clark, rather, 88.
And so another field goal attempt for Jason Elam, who kicked 2 short ones in the first half. They're both less than 30 yards, and this one will be 26. And the Broncos get a gift 3. The recovery of the muff punt that leads to a 23-0 advantage. Broncos trying to go 5-4 on the season with a 23-0 lead against the Chargers. Should the Chargers lose, they too would be 5-4. Elam to kick, and he's back. Reggie Jones with Terrell Fletcher. And it's going to go to Jones. He coming up to the 13-yard line. And he's got some room. And a blocker in front at midfield. Elam pushes him out of bounds and saves the touchdown at the 15-yard line. Well, good for Reggie Jones. He's able to make amends. That's his first kickoff return in his NFL career.
Well, there's a little redemption. He fields the ball cleanly, but then from here, it's great blocking. Look at his cut back to the middle, and you don't even see a Denver Bronco hardly in the same frame. And Jason Elam showing some awfully good speed. He's going to go to the outside, but here comes his break back to the right. And he's untouched by the Broncos. Elam is the first Denver player that gets a hand on Reggie Jones.
His first kickoff return this year. He did have a couple last year. 74 yards, and The give is to Tomlinson, and he's down close to the 10-yard line in the grasp of Bill Romanowski. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Tomlinson, who took his bonus and provided his sister, who has a daycare center, bought her a building in Dallas, bought his mother a home, bought his mother a brand new car. He said that his mom has been his inspiration and wanted to say thank you for getting him where he is today. 77 yards rushing for the rookie. Well, that one looked out of sync, didn't it? Looked as if Flutie was looking for the ball carrier on the other side.
Well, I think either that or it was a fake pitch, I think, and then a counter back the other direction. He's faking a pitch, and then it is a counter. That's a design play. Unfortunately, John Mobley got way too far upfield, and Tomlinson has absolutely no place to go. You really, that play is designed to have everybody flow quickly in the direction of the fake pitch. Nobody bought it for Denver.
So they gain 5 on 1st down, lose 6 on 2nd down. Terrell Fletcher in the backfield now with Flutie. Quick throw, complete, but falling down as he received the ball was Reggie Jones, so he couldn't turn it upfield, and Eric Brown was there to cover him.
Well, great call by Ray Rhodes, the defensive coordinator at Denver. He comes with the blitz right up the middle. More guys. You see that there's absolutely no place for Doug Flutie to get away from Al Wilson. It's stop and think how difficult that is. When you got a guy coming right up the middle, you can't set your feet, you can't follow through. Good call that time, Denver defensively.
Wade Ritchie, 18 for 25, the 7 missed field goals, the most of any kicker in the NFL. He's also kicked more than most, and he hits on his first attempt today. So the Chargers are on the board early here in the 3rd quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36. Burger King, home of the Whopper. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
We're back in the Mile High City with a reminder tonight on 60 Minutes. What was it that caused the nightmares that terrified New York's tough police commissioner? He'll tell you tonight on 60 Minutes. Ritchie with the field goal to get San Diego its first points of this game. We have 9:42 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 23-3. The home team leading, and the high kick to the goal line. Chris Cole. Out to the 20s. Spun around. Still on his feet. Now he's got some running room. And the kicker, Ritchie, able to drag him down by the collar at the 49-yard line.
Boy, it's not often on a kickoff return where you get to see a guy come to virtually a dead stop and be able to change directions like that.
Cole, who played at Texas A&M, a 3rd-round pick a year ago.
Normally the big returns happen by a guy who's got continuous motion upfield. Let's take a look. Well, that's one way you get it going. Look at that block right there by Eric Brown.
First down, Greasy from his own 48. Underneath, wide open Davis. Tackled at the Charger 45 as Holosek and Dixon collaborated on the stop.
Yeah, good pass protection afforded Brian Greasy the opportunity to go through his checkdowns. He worked his way through his progressions and finally found Terrell Davis standing alone in the middle.
Chargers with only 1 sack today. They had 21 coming in.
It's been a very solid game by this much fined offensive line of the Denver Broncos.
As in Levy fined, as Davis finds open territory and is finally run out of bounds at the San Diego 32 by Ryan McNeil. Great block by Patrick Hape, number 86.
Well, this is just, look at this. This is designed to go off right tackle, and the entire left side is so collapsed that it's so obvious. Where's Junior Seau, you ask? Well, he's caught in the pile. That's Tom Nalen. He just got nowhere to go from behind, but the entire right side of San Diego's defense disappeared to the point where Davis saw it and cut all the way over.
Quick throw to Rod Smith, his 4th catch of the game, and he's inside the 30. But back to Terrell Davis. He gained 70 yards in his return to the lineup against Oakland on Monday night. He has 71 yards today. And it is pleasing to see that Davis, with all the knee surgeries and the injuries, is running in a style that is remindful of his most valuable player days here in Denver, leading the Broncos to a couple of Super Bowl titles.
And you see how carefully the Broncos are handling him. He'll go for 3 plays and then come out and take his blow on the sideline.
Mike Anderson is now in the backfield. He gets the call, and he's in the open. Brought down by an ankle as Rogers Beckett makes the tackle, but Anderson gives Denver another first down.
Well, this is good play calling, but it's even better execution by the 11 guys playing offense for Denver. The blocking at the point of attack, you can see the San Diego front 7 are just being removed. It's up to the secondary to make these tackles. Holisek is caught up in the traffic. Gerald Dixon, they get around to his side. This is just really a case where Denver's offense right now is just cracking, and they are blocking everybody in a white shirt.
Greasy. And he'll have to run it out of bounds. Chased out by Marcellus O'Reilly, and that might be ruled a sack. As Greasy did not get back to the line of scrimmage, or did he?
It was awfully close. It's tough to see.
That'll be up to the official score. It's right on the mark.
If it goes down as a sack, we saw an 18-yard sack earlier. That might be a 1.8-inch sack.
Mini and a monster, huh? And Davis back in the ball game, and Carter the blocking back in front of him. And movement by Dwayne Carswell, the tight end.
Well, San Diego was jamming the line of scrimmage.
Prior to the snap. False start, 89.
That's where it's really hard for an offensive player.
5-yard penalty.
You see they've tipped their hand. They're coming with the
second
blitz. Man, it's tough to just choke your motor right there and not jump. And when Junior fakes a blitz, and when not fakes, but when he gets ready to cut, you know it because your entire week is based on where's Say out. And by that time, you see, though, by the time he's across the ball, Carswell has already moved a yard downfield.
So 2nd and 15. And Davis up the middle.
Oh, look at that hole.
Gallops down to the 15-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and about 7. Junior Seau trailing the play made the tackle. Dan, you brought up the fact that the well, let's take another look at this play.
Talk about do you call that a hole? Is that a chasm? Is that a I don't know. Let's just look at the blocking up front by Dan Neal, by Matt Lepsis. Just a spectacular piece of offensive line play by the Denver Broncos.
3rd down, Greasy scrambling and has to throw it away as he was being pursued by Rayleigh Johnson.
And Bill Carollo, the referee, signaling that Brian was out of the pocket, thus he's allowed to get rid of it like that, even though there was no one anywhere close wearing a blue jersey.
So Jason Elam comes on to try for his 4th consecutive field goal.
These stalled drives can't be making Mike Shanahan very happy, but they've got to be making Jason Elam really thrilled. It's not often you get this many chances at so many short field goals.
All 4 inside the 30. This one is from, well, this can be a little longer. It'll be 33 yards.
For Elam, that's pretty close. 30 yards inside his range.
Man, to kick 163, that is a little wedge. 26-3. Kanoe Kennedy of the Broncos, the safety man, getting in some extra work on the sideline, staying warm. Only 5,500 miles to the Champs-Elysees in Paris. Keep going, Kanoe. Well, here's Fletcher and Jones again. And the kickoff being an end over end, easier to field for Jones than those spiral punts, and he's going to take it out.
Even though Fletcher waved him off.
He ran into Fletcher, and he's tackled at the 17-yard line.
Fletcher gave him the nose to go ahead and stay in the end zone.
He said, I got 74 last time. I'll try it again. Timeout.
The NFL on on CBS is sponsored by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. And by Norelco, for an unexpectedly close shave, guaranteed. Put it to the test.
Well, the guys will have a chance to relax on Monday night tomorrow and tune in to CBS. What a lineup. King of Queens, then Yes Dear. Monday's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond. Then stay tuned for Ted Danson and Becker. Don't miss an all-new Family Law. It's all here. Blockbuster Monday night on CBS. Trailing 26-3. Doug Flutie takes over at his own 17. Fires downfield and complete. It's Curtis Conway with a diving catch away from Eric Brown out at the 46-yard line. Well, it hasn't all been that successful for San Diego today. There have been a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, there sure have. That was a dropped pass by Jeff Graham. Of course, this was the killer right before halftime as he throws the ball right to John Mobley, and then you see right there the muff, and again, that turned into, fortunately, only 3 points, a field goal. There you see it got 10 points directly off of those couple of turnovers.
And San Diego had only allowed 6 points off turnovers in 8 games. Underneath with a flag down to Steve Hayden, the tight end, and he is to the Denver 40 if it counts. Bill Carollo, the referee, checking with his line judge, and it's a motion against San Diego.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 men moving. Not all 11 setting before the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So that denies a first down and takes him back to the 40.
Mike Riley, not a very demonstrative coach on the sideline. He keeps his passion and his frustrations on the inside. He thinks it's counterproductive to really rant and rave on the sideline. Although going 1-15, I don't know how he did it.
Quick throw, incomplete, intended for Jeff Graham. He told us yesterday when you asked was he fearful of losing his job last year, and of course that had to be a concern, but Alex Spanos, the owner of the Chargers in the Carolina game and late in the season, went into the locker room and announced that the coach next year would be Mike Riley, and it earned a very positive response. I mean, the players love the guy.
Yeah. I think he actually announced it on the airplane, didn't he? On the way back from a trip, I think it was the first time. Anyway, you got to give Alex a lot of credit. Now, 1-15, most coaches, the vast majority, don't survive that.
Screen to Tomlinson. Oh, great defensive play by Keith Washington, the veteran end, able to reach out, deny the block, and also take away what could have been a long gainer.
Keith Washington all the way to your left. This is a zone blitz. He's a defensive end. He dropped back into the flat, playing a defensive position more like a linebacker, and then he closes like a linebacker and makes the tackle. That's versatility for a defensive end.
Third down, 11 at the 44. Good protection. And now long Flutie for Fred Jones, incomplete. No flag. It appeared that Jones was being tugged at as he headed upfield by Eric Brown, but no call.
That had to be an optical illusion, Dick, because I was with you. It looked like Eric Brown was draped all over, right down here, lower left. No, he wasn't. He you know, it was his right hand just touched him on the hip, but then it was a case where Brown fell down.
Oh, Jones obviously not at full speed as you saw him running downfield. Delta O'Neill at the other end of this Darren Bennett punt. Both punters have had unbelievable days. Look at this one.
Well, they love this thin air.
It takes the bounce into the end zone. So Bennett will have a 56, but only 36 net on that one. Broncos have it again when we come back, leading by 23. We're back with our question of the week, what has been the most surprising aspect of the 2001 year? Emergence of Brady, Bears back-to-back OTs, the struggles of the Vikings and Randy Moss, overall strength of the FC Central. Just log on, cast your vote, NFL.com. First down play at the 20, and Terrell Davis for about 3 into the center of that Charger defense. Jason Perry came up to support against the run.
Well, Dick, this is when you really fall back and you ask your offensive line to take control of the football game. You're protecting a 23-point lead. You'd just love to have some long drives, run the football, bang away, hammer away. And, of course, you know, this offensive line has been in this position in this ballpark many, many times. They've protected a lead here in Denver more often than they've had to come from behind.
And they're all playing at a lighter weight, lighter in the wallet, as you've read. Throw by Greasy into the flat is complete to Carter, and the fullback is out of bounds, 1 yard shy of a first down. And Dan Neal was hit hardest of all as the flag is down on the play. Illegal procedure or full start, one or the other, against Shanahan's Broncos.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Wide receiver was not on the line. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
And Dan Neal, for a couple of leg whips against Oakland, was really hit hard this week. $67,000 to him, and there are the other fines. You see Neal hit twice, and Onabasa with a broken leg and Cox with a broken leg, and claims that there were illegal blocks from Denver linemen. Throw into the flat to Smith, and Smith fighting for the first down is close, but wrestled down at the 28 by Tay Cody. And it'll bring up third down and 2.
When Rod Smith gets up grimacing, and he's hobbling.
Runs off under his own power, but on a hop.
Well, you'll see this a lot, Dick, when a receiver is tackled up high like this, and in his legs, a lot of times they get caught underneath. That time he looked like he was able to kick them out from underneath, and it shouldn't have been a factor with his legs. But I think with a big lead like this, Rod Smith might be... He might be sideline material for a while.
Number 1 in the league in catches with 67. He has 5 today. Whoops. That would be a penalty. As Chris Cole in motion started forward before the snap.
And Mike Shanahan is going to be furious that he's seeing a loss of concentration.
Prior to the snap, false start, 84, offense, 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Cole's in motion, and of course he can't start a field until the snap of the football, and he either mistimed it, misjudged it, heard something that he thought, you know, what am I doing over here? I am so dumb. But you know, coaches hate this. You get a lead. You know they had 1 penalty for illegal formation. Now you get a false start. Boy, it drives coaches wild.
3rd and 6 for Greasy. Scrambles up the middle, but doesn't get very far as Varela and Adrian Dingle, number 90, second-year defensive end from Clemson, make the stop, and Tom Ruin will come into punt. And that will be ruled a sack. Ruin, look at the average, 62 yards, a couple of 62-yard punts by the man leading the league, coming in 47.3 yards a kick on the season. He's 0 for 2, Reggie, in punts. 2 attempts, 2 muffs.
Well, he's doing for the punt what Dave Kingman did for the fly ball. This will be there'll be all eyes are on Reggie here.
No, he's not going to try this. He waits till it bounces. That's a quick-thinking man, and gets out across the 20-yard line. There's a way to skin a cat. Well, college ball, we got a doubleheader for you next Saturday, beginning at 3 Eastern. Day night, first, the Alabama Crimson Tide tangle the Auburn Tigers. Starts with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman in college football today. And in prime time, Florida State rivalry resumes here on CBS.
And who'll be calling that primetime game? Who? Whoa, that's our buddy Vern Lundquist there on the left, having a quality hang down there with Norv Turner.
Colorado resident. Steamboat Springs and a place here in Denver as well.
That was down on the field about an hour and a half prior to kickoff this morning.
Well, that's what announcers do when they have a Sunday off.
Hey,
try to find a game.
When you're a football man, you're a football man. You love the game.
There's that smile of Tomlinson, this time more in wonder.
Yeah, it's a little tough to keep that happy, smiling attitude when you're down by 23 points at Mile High.
Final seconds tick away here in the third quarter. Second down, 7. Tomlinson picks up the blitz. Flutie back to McCrary with a flag down, and McCrary hit at the 27-yard line. Denard Walker made the tackle. The flag thrown in the Denver secondary.
Yeah, we're going to have an illegal use of hands, I think, against Denver.
Illegal contact, 27, defense. Before the pass was thrown, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
That's Denard Walker right down there at the bottom of your screen. You get that chuck on a guy, but it's got to be within 5 yards. That was closer to 9 or 10. And to see again, that's just a loss of concentration. That's just not thinking.
McCrary takes a hit. He's a great story. You know, a lot of players with $1 million contracts, and maybe some forget how great it is to play the game. Not McCrary. We'll share that story with you when we come back in the fourth quarter. End of 3. 26-3. The Broncos will return to Mile High in Denver right after this message and a word from your local station. Rod Smith working on the ankle. Does not appear to be serious. We'll see if he returns. We open the fourth quarter. Dick Enberg, Dan Deardorff, Bonnie Bernstein, Mike Arnold, our director, Lance Farrow, our producer. Pleased you've joined us here in Mile High Stadium. A concerned Bronco team and coaching staff when we arrived here, and Mike Shanahan made it very clear he wanted his defense to perform much better than they have on the year, averaging 24 points allowed a game. Well, they've done it. They've responded.
Well, coming into the game at 4-4, but 1-3 in the AFC West. He knew that a loss today makes them 1-4 in the West, drops them to 4-5, way behind the Raiders. In reality, let's face it, if they would have lost today, they wouldn't have made the playoffs.
Doug Flutie goes to work for San Diego, and he's going deep, has a man wide open, Conway, and Curtis Conway will walk it in for a San Diego touchdown. 72-yard strike from Flutie to Conway, who has his third score of the year.
Well, you could see the concentration slipping away. You saw it, Denver offensively, and this is just a complete blow in their secondary as they just turn Conway loose. And I'm talking about turn him loose. Deltha O'Neal, and I think it was Kenoy Kennedy or Eric Brown, whichever safety to that side, they just allow Conway rather go right between the two of them all the way to the end zone.
Try for point by Ritchie, and San Diego pulls to within 16 on Conway's all-alone catch, 72 yards. So the Broncos double-checking the coverage on that touchdown strike that left Curtis Conway all alone behind the Denver defense. And the 11 touchdowns, as you add Conway's to the count, the most allowed by a defense in the NFL this year. The cornerbacks, that is. Chris Cole is back as Ritchie, who has replaced John Carney as the Charger place kicker because he hits the ball deep, and he gets into this one 5 yards deep, and Cole will kneel down and take the touchback. Let's go back to the touchdown, Dan.
Well, here's Deltha O'Neal right here, the cornerback, and here's Conway right down. But O'Neal thinks he's got help. O'Neal is going to play like it's a zone defense. You're going to see right here, he releases Curtis Conway thinking he's got help in the deep middle. He's got him right there, but he's going to come off of him playing a zone. Well, guess what? It looks to me like he was the only guy on that defense that was playing a zone. No, that's just a mental error. It's just a lack of concentration, and Al Wilson's got every reason to be upset.
On first down, give inside to Terrell Davis. So Davis, despite his injuries and the fact that, as Mike Shanahan called it, he's not football tough yet, well, he's going to build some welts today. He's had plenty of action, 22 carries, 84 yards. Gain of 2 on that play. Early in the fourth quarter, and the Denver lead down to 16. Smith back in the game after the taped ankle. Greasy. He finds the open man in the flat, and it's Tony Carter. Another catch for Carter, who had 3 receptions all year. He's had 3 today. Bonnie?
Well, Dick, we watched Terrell Davis, and he looks back to normal, but really his weekly routine is anything but. You want to know what he does during his lunch hour? He doesn't eat. He told us, I spend 10 to 15 minutes in the hot tub, then I get massaged, then I put on a whole ton of Flexol, then I put heat pads on, and then I go out to practice. Talk about somebody who really longs for the days where he could just strap the pads on and go.
Well, there's a lot to how you take care of your body away from the game, and players are treating themselves. It's hardly hedonistic, so that they are fresh on the Sundays. John Perella makes another tackle. Davis, the carrier.
Well, it's been a busy day for Terrell Davis. As many times as Dick has called him out, he's been the recipient of some mighty fine blocking as this game has gone on, but he's been active in the passing game, whether over the middle or catching a flare to the outside. But this former NFL most valuable player, it's just nice to see him showing some of the flashes of the guy who gained over 2,000 yards in second season.
Greasy has to scramble, and nobody comes over to push him out of bounds, so he just keeps running and is close to a first down out at the 46-yard line. Chargers hardly hustled to the ball.
Well, he was getting he had a receiver. I couldn't see the number. We'll see here on replay, who's on the sideline down in front of Brian Greasy, and who's making a block on one of the Chargers. Is that Rod Smith? Yeah, Rod Smith. Look at him, how he ties up Tay Cody and keeps him from getting a hit on his quarterback. And again, we document what a complete player Rod Smith is.
Well, talk about all-pro. Oh. His catches, his blocks, and his leadership. 3rd and 1. Oh, Sayal appeared to be offside. He was. Doesn't matter. Davis has a first down anyway across the 50 to the Charger 48, and Terrell looks like he needs some oxygen.
Terrell looks like he'd like a trip to that hot tub right about now. Junior trying to time the blitz perfectly. He caught, unfortunately, Brian Greasy in a longer snap count. Tried to time it, tried to judge it, and got foiled by the longer count.
Defense, number 55, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Junior Seau will never be late to the party. He might be early a couple times like he is right here, but he won't be late. And he takes a pretty good shot from Tony Carter for his trouble of being offsides. Tony Carter put a hat right in his chest.
Seau is a tremendous athlete in northern San Diego County, Oceanside, California. He was the San Diego Basketball Player of the Year in high school. Shows you his great agility. It is Mike Anderson who is in now to give Terrell Davis a breather. And Anderson leads the Broncos this year in rushing, 442 yards coming in. Solid average, 4.2, trying to make it another 1,000-yard season. He's gained 1,000 yards every team for whom or for which he has played in his career. Junior college, University of Utah, and then here in the NFL.
And he did some yeoman work for the Marines in between there.
Yes, indeed.
4 years.
Not a bad ball carrier for a drummer in high school. Didn't play any high school ball. Fake, and then Greasy lets it go, and this is a live ball. Ray Lee Johnson's going to take it all the way to the end zone. Oh, my. this kind of changes the complexion of this game. Greasy in trying to elude the sack as Gerald Dixon had come in on a blitz, just kind of threw it up for grabs, and it bounced kindly to Ray Lee Johnson.
And San Diego's going to go for 2 to try to get within 8 points so that one more score and a 2-point conversion would tie it up. Brian turns around and is just startled by the fact that he's looking at Dixon right in his face. Dixon sees this all the way. Instead of flattening out and going down the line, Gerald continued up the field, and Greasy's so startled he just spits up the ball. Does the ball hit his knee or something? No, it's like was he trying to throw it away? He just flipped it.
And it wasn't a good enough attempt as a pass, even to take a penalty. They ruled it a fumble all the way, and Ray Lee Johnson with a 45-yard run to score.
It's like all of a sudden that football was 300 degrees or something, and he just flipped it out of his hand.
So the score now is 26-16.
Well, and that's why they're going for 2, Dick, because if they make it 26-18, then a touchdown and a 2-pointer would send this game into overtime.
And plenty of time left, just under 11 minutes. Now they're going to challenge the call. Is that we couldn't hear Bill Carollo's announcement.
His field mic hasn't been working all game. They can't possibly rule that a forward pass. Well, I guess anything's possible, but if you ruled that a forward pass, then the penalty would be you'd have to have thrown a flag on the field for intentional grounding, would you not? Because Brian Greasy is in the pocket.
And you see Carollo looking at it all the way, the referee.
I don't believe that he has traveled outside the pocket.
Oh, he had not.
So he's still within that tight end to tight end pocket, which means if it was intentional grounding, Carollo would have thrown the pass, thrown the flag, because that's his call and his call alone as the referee.
So the call on the field obviously is a fumble, and Carollo will have to see something that would be very dramatic to change his mind.
He'd have to overturn himself.
Exactly right. Bad position to be in. Let's take another look. It's an unusual play, to be certain. You don't see many of these.
We're assuming that that's what they're looking at. You know, if that's the determination he's trying to make, I can't imagine what else would come into play here. That I don't see how that could possibly qualify. Although, you know, whatever Brian did, whatever we're going to ultimately call this, he appears to have done it on purpose.
It just was he didn't have time to really make a good throw out of it, and he just let it leave his hand.
But if Bill Carollo's the referee and he thought that was a pass, he would have blown the whistle, stopping the play. That's what you do after an incomplete pass. You blow the whistle. He did not blow the whistle, which means this was a continuous play that ended up with a San Diego touchdown.
Now, maybe we'll see Carollo in this picture. He's right behind Greasy, looking at it all the way. No, we can't quite see him.
Yeah, you could see him from the other angle. Kudos right off the bat, though, to Gerald Dixon. He made it all happen by continuing his upfield rush.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined that the quarterback's pass was not forward. It was deemed as a live ball, touchdown, San Diego.
So it's ruled a fumble or a lateral pass, in essence. He threw it up backward, and it's a live ball. That's a different angle.
Well, let's look at this again. Well, he's calling that a backwards pass.
I would have challenged that, but not the other.
Well, that's, you know, he called it. Bill Carollo called it a pass.
But now the two-point try, very critical to make this a possibility. A toss to Tomlinson, trying to get into the end zone. He does not. It was set up. Check it. It was Fred McMurray. Fred McMurray with the toss, trying to sweep. And he's denied at the goal line. 26-16 it remains.
The The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Acura MDX, taking the SUV to a place it's never been before. MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Are you ready for a cold one?
Well, the Chargers tonight on the two-point conversion as Terrell Fletcher stopped at the 1-yard line by Eric Brown. Solid tackle, and it's 26-16 now.
A 10-point game. And, of course, 10 points in San Diego mistakes. The interception by Doug Flutie just prior to halftime. The muffed punt. And look what we've got. The 10-point differential in this ballgame.
Ritchie to kick it off to Chris Cole.
There's a line drive.
8 yards deep. Cole will take the touchback. Now let's go back to the two-point conversion.
Well, this would have made it a one-score to tie deal here. But this is just, look at the flow. And, you know, you almost sensed that at the last second right there that Fletcher had to make a decision at some time to just really sell out in going for the end zone. And he just kept going parallel to the line of scrimmage for so long that by the time he got to the sideline, he never did get to turn his shoulders upfield.
Terrell Davis back in at tailback, and Greasy to throw on first down. Fires complete. Beck has made the tackle as Desmond Clark with a reception, a short gainer of about 4 or 5.
Well, right now, defensively, San Diego, even with all the injured personnel, they've got to be charged a little bit right now. I mean, they've got to see that this is a winnable football game, even with all the mistakes that they have made. If we ought to see some sort of an energy pickup here on the part of the Chargers defensively. A 3-and-out here would be huge for them.
Davis can't get around the corner, but breaks the tackle and then is dropped for a loss of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 8 at the 22. Leonardo Carson makes the play.
Well, we talked before about the San Diego defensive line needing to get upfield and take away those lanes. Well, they just destroyed the point of attack. The surge belonged to the guys in the white right there, and Terrell Davis nowhere to go.
Carson, who's in the lineup, Jamal Williams injured earlier this year, and Coach Mike Riley said, I give him an A on his performance the first half of this season. 3rd and 8. Greasy under pressure, scrambling, and dives, but fumbles the ball, and it goes out of bounds. They're running the ball down anyway at the 29-yard line, just short of the first down. It was Carson again pressuring Greasy out of the pocket.
Boy, what a job by Brian Greasy of selling out, trying to pick up the first down. But gee whiz, for a guy who's got bad shoulders, what a risk. What a risk as he dives head first like that. Boy, were his knees down when that ball came out?
That was pretty close. It wouldn't matter, because even had it gone out of bounds at the 31, they would have brought it back to the 29, and we'd have this same situation, 4th and 1. And Mr. Adventure, Reggie Jones, goes back into return position for Tom Ruin's punt.
Mr. Adventure?
He's got two muffs and wisely let one bounce, which he handled cleanly. And Ruin has just been kicking the air out of the ball today. Chargers look as if they're going to go after the punt. Shorter kick this time. Jones lets it go.
He doesn't want anything to do with that, catching it on the fly.
And at the 18-yard line, it's down by Denver. Plenty of time, 8.5 minutes left. Denver's lead has shrunk to 10. Chargers have made it interesting, and they have the ball at their 19.
Yeah, they've maximized their plays, haven't they? 13 points off of one offensive play.
72-yard touchdown pass to Conway, and a fumble return 45 yards by Rayleigh Johnson. Flutie goes to the sidelines, and it's complete to LaDainian Tomlinson, who's knocked out of bounds by Denard Walker at the 27-yard line, a gain of about 8.
Well, you want to move to the huddle with some urgency, but there's really no need to to run any sort of a panic offense. There's a lot of time left in this game, and Doug Flutie, he won't rattle.
Chargers have all 3 timeouts. Quick throw, incomplete through the hands of Reggie Jones. Jones comes up limping.
And it's been a lot of action here in the 4th quarter. Here's the pass that Dick just talked about to a wide-open Curtis Conway. The mistake in the Denver secondary. And then Brian Griese, startled, surrenders the football. Ruled a backward pass, and Ray Lee Johnson just trots on down to the end zone. And it's, again, you saw it, 13 points off of one offensive play.
3rd and 3, inside handoff to Fletcher, and Terrell Fletcher out to the 43-yard line on the 1st down. The 3rd down back, and Tomlinson told us yesterday that make it easier for him as a rookie. Norv Turner said, you won't be in there on 3rd downs.
Boy, this was just a good-looking delay. You saw left tackle Damian McIntosh pull up through the line. And right now, you sense a lot of uneasiness here at Invesco Field at Mile High.
Fletcher out, Tomlinson in.
They're a little startled to see this San Diego comeback.
Flutie steps up, down the middle. Intercepted. Picked off by Eric Brown. No, it is George Coghill. Or are they going to call it a...
No, they're calling it an interception.
Coghill, who is playing because Kenoy Kennedy is injured, and he makes a shoestring diving catch.
Well, you know they're going to take a close look at the replay we're about to bring up.
We'll see if Riley challenges. Time out.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And by Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Well, George Coghill comes up with the interception, and we've looked at it from about 4 different angles and see nothing that would overturn it. He just looked like he did a great job of digging out the football. Some confusion there in Freddie Jones and the pattern that he was running. Doug Flutie thought he was going to break it off, threw it to a point. Jones continued downfield.
3rd career interception for Coghill, and now the Broncos will try to chew up some clock. Leading by 10 and 7 minutes, 18 seconds left.
Yeah, when you look at this from behind, see Freddie Jones going down the field there, and either he expected Jones to break off to the right or Curtis Conway to break to his left, one or the other.
Chester McLaughlin, he said, I just want to see. Flutie said, just let me see what's happening.
Yeah, either between Conway or Jones, there was a miscommunication with their quarterback.
Caught in the backfield, Terrell Davis, and a flag goes down as Junior Seau and Ray Lee Johnson make the stop. Holding Denver. Well, the Chargers ranked 2nd in the NFL in turnover ratio, plus 12.
Holding 70. Offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
But they're a -2 today. After last year being last in the NFL, -28. They gave up the ball 50 times last year. Third down and 9.
We've got plenty of time on the play clock. They snapped the ball with 10 seconds left. They could have milked that.
Griese going deep for Cole. No flag. There was a lot of hand checking between Cole and rookie Tay Cody.
Well, another good series for San Diego defensively, forcing Denver into a 3-and-out. It's been an unproductive 4th quarter for Denver offensively, going for the big strike, and just good coverage. That's just plain old good coverage, and Brian Griese had no choice but to put enough air under that ball that it couldn't be intercepted.
Nobody back for San Diego. 11 men on the line of scrimmage as Ruin's going to bunt it.
Might be an improvement.
He drives it deep. Will it go in the end zone? No. Beautifully. Backspin stopped at the 5-yard line by Ian Gold.
How good is that?
Ruin has had a brilliant day punting the football. That one was for 56 yards. Bonnie?
Well, Dick, Ed McCaffrey's been hobbling here along the sidelines. Of course, he broke his leg in the first game of the season. He's out for the rest of the year. Now, you and Rod Smith have been on this team together for 7 years. This must be kind of tough for you to be out an extended period of time.
It really is. You know, it takes a lot of time to develop chemistry and friendships. And Rod and I really felt like we're at the peak of our careers. And we really were getting along great. And, you know, Rod continues to play unbelievably well. Best receiver in football. It's tough not being out there with him.
Give me a sense of your progress and what you're able to do right now.
Well, I'm allowed to walk around normally without a boot, which is good. You know, I've been converted from a player to a #1 fan. Still watching the game. But I'm losing my voice a little bit. It means a lot to just be down here and feel like I'm still part of the team.
Right, Ed, thank you.
Flutie hit in the end zone as he tried to pass by Bill Romanowski.
Well, and they're not calling intentional grounding. Doug Flutie is not even looking at where he's throwing the football. Intentional grounding in the end zone would have been a safety.
LaDainian Tomlinson was in the general area, but that certainly was just a get it out of my hands throw.
Doug was looking at the ground when he threw that ball. Mike Shanahan has every reason to be furious.
Not reviewable.
No, it's a judgment call. It's not reviewable.
And the crowd really roaring, and the Chargers having difficulty hearing the signal.
I think Bill Carollo's, he got buzzed, I think, by Mike Shanahan, but I don't think it's a judgment call.
You know, I think that what it has come down to now is that they're going to have to look at the rules of challenge. That any play can be challenged. You know, they might as well make any play challenge. You get a couple of chances each coach.
Well, Doug Flutie has his back to where he's throwing the football, and turned away from it, just flings the football. Now, the ruling of intentional grounding is throwing the football away to avoid a sack. I think that qualifies.
Not a challengeable play. It'll be second down. Number 21 was in the vicinity to catch the ball.
So, ruled that LaDainian Tomlinson was close enough that it was not intentional.
But the real rule is if you're throwing it away with the intent to avoid a sack, it's intentional grounding, regardless of whether there's anybody in the area or not. I know Tomlinson was close, but Doug Flutie wasn't even looking at it.
Crowd really into it now. Flutie way downfield is Conway again, and it's intercepted by Delta O'Neal. That's his 7th of the year.
Well, it's just a jump ball, and my first impression was that Curtis Conway went up too soon. Watch when Curtis Conway decides to elevate for this ball. Does he go up a little too early? Yes, he's on his way back down when the ball finally arrives. And Delta O'Neal is the guy whose hands remain in position to intercept the ball. Curtis just goes up just a hair too soon. A good effort on his part, but just a little bit mistimed.
For the moment, Delta O'Neal leading the NFL with 7 interceptions, and Terrell Davis for a couple on first down. The last time we were here against Kansas City, O'Neal had 1, had 2, had 3, had 4 interceptions to tie the all-time NFL mark.
And got all of them off of Trent Green, the Kansas City quarterback. Although I think he would have told us that he would have loved to have had one of those on Monday night, because the Raiders pretty much they pretty much made it a tough night for Delta O'Neal,
who played in the Bay Area at California. Conway was open, but that was such a long throw that Flutie didn't quite get it to him. Here's Terrell Davis into San Diego territory at the 49. It'll be 3rd down and 5. 5-minute mark coming up in the 4th quarter with Denver once leading by 23, now protecting that 10-point lead. But here in the 4th quarter, since cutting the lead to 10, San Diego's had 2 possessions that have ended in interceptions in Denver territory.
Remember that first series that Denver had where we talked about it looked like they'd lost their focus a little bit? Boy, talk about a precursor of what was to come.
Exactly, right on. Pick up the blitz, the throw complete. What a throw to Keith Poole, who makes a tough catch in front of Ryan McNeil. First down at the 40.
I mean, Brian Greasy under tremendous pressure has to dump this ball, and it is low and away. Keith Poole has to stop. You got to look at that catch. His momentum, he's sliding one direction and has the ability to go back with his hands and catch it back behind him. That was an outstanding grab.
Poole was the top target for Jake Plummer at Arizona State as they went on to the Rose Bowl and played the last 4 years in New Orleans. Davis, and he just looked as if he stopped, not knowing if he was going to lose the ball. He almost lost his head as Junior Seau was there to greet him. Tonight on CBS, of course, it's 60 Minutes, and what is it that caused those nightmares that terrified New York's iron tough police commissioner? He's going to tell you tonight on 60 Minutes, and that'll be followed by the new hit series, The Education of Max Pickford, and don't miss the I Love Lucy 50th anniversary special. That ought to be great viewing tonight on CBS.
Can you ever look at one of those I Love Lucy and not laugh? Talk about timeless humor.
20-minute time difference in possession to Denver. There's a throw underneath, complete to Davis. And Davis stopped at the 36-yard line by Tay Cody. Now, one thing about Cody, and we'd heard this from the San Diego coaches, he's 5'9", 180, and one of the reasons he wasn't drafted to the third round, although he was a four-year starter at Florida State, was that he doesn't have great speed, but he's a wonderful tackler. And we've seen him today time and time again, isolated one-on-one. He gets his man down. Timeout, the first used by San Diego. And next Sunday, looking ahead, here's our lineup on CBS. Jets, Miami, Colts at New Orleans, Cleveland, Baltimore, Seattle, Buffalo, Tennessee, Cincinnati. We're going to be in Oakland to see the Chargers and the Raiders, and Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. All starts at noon Eastern, 9 in the West.
Where'd this guy come from? That's a new addition, huh?
It's worth watching just to see what attire Monsieur Sanders is going to wear each week.
Man, he's not used to being in the back row.
Don't even suggest it. He's doing some terrific work for a relative novice. We always knew he could talk, but he's handling himself with a microphone very, very well. Top grades. It's third down, 6. Looks on Davis, and John Holisek coming through a gap makes the tackle. Holisek, who had 100 tackles or more each of the last 3 years at Buffalo and wasn't signed by the Bills, so he joined the migration west, Buffalo to San Diego.
And San Diego takes another timeout. That leaves them with 1 left. They've got the 2-minute warning, of course, that'll stop the clock.
Well, Doug Flutie has not had a great day. He's been under pressure.
Yeah, he really has, Dick. It's just, and that was the one that killed right before halftime. He threw it to John Mobley. George Coghill got in on the action, pressured in the end zone. And then, you know, this is all you can hope for is a jump ball with your best receiver in Curtis Conway, and it's Delv O'Neal, though, that comes down with the football. And not a very good couple of weeks for Doug. The concussion last week and well below 50% this week, and 3 interceptions to 1 touchdown. It's been a rough couple of weeks for Doug.
To put that in perspective, Flutie had thrown only 4 interceptions in the first 8 games, 3 today. One of the things he does well is protect the ball. Of course, with his scrambling, a chance to buy time and find an open man.
Well, it's one of the reasons, Dick, the Chargers have such a good record. Came into this game plus 12.
Bruin will get a short punt only because he's kicking from midfield. Jones lets it bounce over his head and almost hit him in the back on the rebound. He was frozen as he looked back at it, and that would have really added salt to the wound.
I wonder if Bruin is that good with a pitching wedge. Because he can make this ball hop and come back. I'm telling you what.
Jones better learn to turn and be ready to move on those punts. It's down at the 13.
I think old Reggie might get a few reps this week and working on fielding the punt. Reps. That's football talk. Repetitions.
Thank you.
Well, I just thought I better throw that in. Yeah.
You talk about getting your reps in practice. Yeah. Your backup quarterback, you hope to get a few. 60 minutes to follow here after the conclusion of this game. 2:38 remaining in the fourth. 4 wides for Flutie. Throws the ball incomplete. He threw that one away. Jones had no chance to catch it. Under pressure from Trevor Price, and what a player Price is when you consider he's playing one of those inside tackle spots. He has 5 sacks. You don't get many sacks out of that position, and Price leads his team, and of course is a solid favorite to make it to his 3rd consecutive Pro Bowl.
I think your chances of completions are diminished as you're running through the back of your own end zone, having to throw off your heels.
Second and 10. Fletcher playing on a bad ankle, tackled at the 15, gain of 2. Denard Walker made the tackle, and Flutie trying to hurry his team to the line of scrimmage with 2:20 left in the 4th quarter. Denver by 10. Broncos had a big lead at halftime, 20-0. Built that to 26-3 in the 3rd quarter. Flutie fires, intercepted. It's Jimmy Spencer, the veteran corner. His first as a Bronco. He's a former Charger, his 24th in his career.
And the 4th interception of the day for Doug Flutie. Hey, you got to try to make something happen. He's trying to get the ball to Jeff Graham. There's Graham in the slot, makes his break to the sideline, but I don't know if Doug was expecting Denver to be in a man-to-man defense, but they're sitting in a zone. And Jimmy Spencer just sits there and waits for Graham to get close, and the football comes right to him.
So 3 of the 4 interceptions here in the 4th quarter after the Chargers had closed to within 10.
I mean, the chances of seeing man-to-man coverage in this type of a situation where you're protecting the lead are slim and slimmer than slim.
San Diego has only 1 timeout plus the 2-minute warning. Terrell Davis. And Roger Beckett strips him of the ball. And what's the call?
Oh, this is going to be, it was possession game before he went out of bounds.
Denver apparently recovered. Ryan McNeil was the man all over it for San Diego, and it's ruled Denver's ball at the 21. And that's the 2-minute warning. 1:55 left. The Broncos have a 10-point lead.
What's really critical right here is Ryan McNeil, when he gets possession of this fumble, is out of bounds. You'll see that his leg is out of bounds. As he's going after the ball, look at his right leg. You see his right leg and his right foot are out of bounds. That's why Denver retains possession of the football, Dick.
Yeah, but McNeil, a good strip there, and for the Denver Broncos, this win will encourage their hopes to maybe catch the Raiders, who play tonight in Seattle, but the Raiders certainly look to be the class of the West thus far.
Yeah, they really do. This was kind of a sloppy game by both teams. They're both going to come out of this with the same record. They will split their series here this season. So I think both of these teams have a lot of work to do, and I agree with you, Dick, to catch the Raiders.
Terrell Davis with the carry on 1st down, and let's check on other actions. Let's go to Jim in New York.
All right, thank you very much, Dick. The Giants win in the desert. Here's a touchdown pass, Collins to Hilliard. But the big story was Tiki Barber today, 118 rushing yards. Giants win it 17-10, 5-4 now in the year. Minnesota next week. Back to you.
And that moves them into 1st place in the NFC East ahead of Philadelphia, defeated today as the Chargers spend their final timeout. And let's look at the AFC Western standings, with Oakland playing tonight at Seattle and a perfect record in the division. Seahawks are 3-4, and San Diego and Denver will both be 5-4 based on the Broncos closing out the final minute and 48 seconds.
Well, not only is Oakland the class of the division, I think a lot of people would say that they're the class of the entire AFC. They just seem to be the team, both in all 3 facets of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, that seem to have a leg up on everybody.
Teams like the Cardinals in the NFC and the Raiders in the AFC.
You know, it's funny you should say that. That's really what most people were thinking. Most people in need of a long vacation.
Looking ahead to New Orleans. Davis as the Broncos stay on the ground, just protecting the ball and smothered by quintet of white jerseys.
Now, Dick, when you said Cardinals, were you tugging my chain?
No.
Or were you talking about the
St. Louis Rams? St. Louis Rams, but
see, I
just
thought you were.
It would bring up a conversation about your great Cardinal career.
See, I thought I took it that you were yanking me a little bit, and I still think you were.
Well, nobody's perfect.
And I wouldn't be the first time.
But the Rams and the Raiders do seem to be right now the teams to beat for the
no question.
Big prize.
They would be, and of course, a lot of folks in Baltimore are going, excuse me, are we not the defending champions?
Timeout called by Greasy at 1 second mark, although it ticked to 0. And we'll see if they go for a field goal. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes. And then the Education of Max Bickford, one of the popular new shows. And don't miss at 9 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock in the West as well, the 50th anniversary special, I Love Lucy, one of the most talented comedians in the history of show business. And just that look alone, you know you're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Well, Brian Greasy, Doug Flutie. And Flutie, for the first time in his NFL career, has thrown 4 interceptions in one game. But in his behalf, 3 of those came after San Diego closed to make this a game at 26-16. 3 of those came trying to make something happen here in the fourth quarter. And the Broncos opportunistic and picking off 3 of the 4 that they logged today.
John, hustle out, John, hustle out,
Fourth down and not going for a field goal. Mike Shanahan doesn't want to risk the possibility of a block. It's 4th and 10. Fake and Greasy has a man open, but doesn't throw it. He's run out of bounds. No, he stays in bounds, but on the change of possession, the clock will stop. 55 seconds left. So Flutie and the Chargers are back out for a desperation try, trailing by 10 as most of the faithful here in Denver headed for the highways.
Well, I think Mike Shanahan had to be thinking that with no timeouts, that San Diego, you're asking the impossible to score twice in 55 seconds, given the fact that they're starting inside their own 15.
The best chance to score would have been a blocked field goal that you could take back the other way.
Right. So he weighed the I think he weighed the negatives there. What could have happened on the field goal versus putting them with the football, but 2 scores necessary.
Jeff Graham left and Conway right, with Reggie Jones in the slot. And it's incomplete through the hands of Terrell Fletcher as Flutie had to throw around and on rushing defensive lineman Trevor Price. Price has had a huge game.
Yeah, he certainly has. A lot of pressure from the Bronco front 4, getting upfield, getting in Doug's face. And, of course, let's face it, Doug, not the tallest quarterback in the league. And so defensive linemen know that. They know that you want to seal him, keep him in the middle, and then get in his face.
51 seconds left. To the side, incomplete through the hands of Freddie Jones, and you could see he's really favoring that ankle. Jones, who had a huge season last year, 71 catches to lead the Chargers, 5 touchdowns also to lead, but this year only 19 catches. Third down and 10 for San Diego with the clock showing 46 seconds. Denver in a very loose zone. Safety's back at the 29-yard line. Flutie. How'd he get out of that? That's the Flutie of old. Trying to get out of bounds, cannot. And is tackled at the 17-yard line, and all that earned a couple of yards. Denard Walker made the stop.
Doug starts walking towards the San Diego sideline. Out of habit, expecting the punting team to go on, but I don't think San Diego's, I don't know that they're going to punt here.
Leon Litt had him for a moment for a sack, but Rudy able to extricate himself from his grasp. And now 4th down and possibly the last play for Mike Riley.
Yeah, they're just going to let it go.
And they will. Final seconds tick away, and the Denver Broncos have moved into a tie with San Diego at 5-4 in the AFC West. A hard-earned win for Mike Shanahan. Was easy for a while, 26-3, and then the explosion with 2 touchdowns scored on 1 play by San Diego, 1 scrimmage play. They got a backward lateral for a touchdown that made it interesting for a while for San Diego fans. Stay tuned now. We got 60 minutes coming up. The Education of Max Bickford I Love Lucy special. It's a terrific Sunday night on CBS. Thank you for being with us. For Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein, Dick Enberg, the Denver Broncos have defeated the San Diego Chargers 26-16, led by the arm of Brian Griese with a couple of touchdown passes, and Terrell Davis, the leading rusher for Denver, with 83 yards. This long-time rivalry ends. Denver the winner, 26-16.